So here we are again in the 1980s, and we've just finished off looking at Earl Street, and now we're going to proceed down Park Street. So hello to Harry Lee.
Hi, Jason. Yes, indeed. We're just turning right from Earl Street. Years ago, the cars used to come up. You can see one car there going up the wrong way, as we always say. But it's McCusker's little shop. And isn't it beautiful there? That looks lovely. It's something like a set out of the town hall. But we did talk about McCusker's before, but it is a lovely little shop. It's a barber shop now. Now, moving on to Canis McManus's television shop, which is I see they have some kind of an anniversary there. So they must have been there a good while. Maybe it's only a first anniversary.
Yeah,
But
I think
it's
this
always
picture.
been, yeah, it's always been, though, a television for years, wasn't it, Jason?
Yeah, so I think this was taken in 1984. So there might have been TV shops before or after, but you can see the brands that were around that time.
Yeah.
Lord Mendy, Ferguson, and Thorn. This is the logo for Thorn.
It's a hell of a it's now, of course, it's gone completely. There's a couple of shops instead of that big shop, but it was a great spot in those days. And Jason, just go back between there's a wee green sign up at the top there.
Yeah.
And what's written on that one? I never saw that.
That says Park Street, Shroud na Parka. So it's a lovely little plaque that's just on the corner between two of the streets.
Now, I've never seen that before. Have you, around your town?
I haven't noticed it before because maybe it was the fact that it was painted in green with white lettering made it stood out on that corner. But you're right, I haven't seen too many of them.
No, it's a nice little memory just there.
Yeah.
Where, as I say, I've never seen it. Now, I'm sure people will tell us, they're in all the places,
There's loads
but we noticed it more here. And the next one, Jason, I'm not quite sure what is a little shop.
This had a few turns as a food shop. So it's a Chinese right now, I think. And it used to be a shop called Ali Kebabs. It was a kebab shop. So anybody that left Tivoli's in the late 80s or 90s would trips across the road there straight into Ali Kebabs. Beautiful kebabs. He was there for about 2 or 3 years. And
I didn't think you boys are way back in the 80s at kebabs.
Well, it was either there or you were heading up to the what do you call it? The shop, the Europa around the corner here. But
God, yeah.
That was fierce exotic for us to have kebabs there, Harry. Yeah.
Now, next to that is Phil Lynch, and Phil, of course, who became very, very well known in the town with a few huge big shops, and he started off there. And he, as a matter of fact, Lawless's, which is next door to that, they used to sell holy pictures and rosary beads and everything up until recently, actually. And unfortunately, the lady that was in it died, and another sister died very recently. So, unfortunately, but they were first cousins, actually. Lawless's and Phil were first cousins. It was run, of course, by Billy over the last few years that it was there. But
I remember going there because that's where I used to get my haircut, Harry. There wasn't too many barbers, but in Dundalk, you went down the back of the shop and they had a whole complete barber shop down the back there, yeah?
Yeah, and it was a place I think a lot of people went in not even to get their haircut. It was a great GAA. I'm sure it was Gale's football club that they all talked about there.
Now that you say it, I do. It was the only place I've ever seen in my life somebody getting a cutthroat shave.
That's right. They did that, yeah.
You
know, sharpened the thing on the
sharpen it on the leather, and I'd only ever seen that previously on westerns. But I saw it in real life, and I only saw it once, and it was in Lawless.
Oh, yeah, and that is all memory now. And moving next to it, Wins, that is actually... now, Jason, just go back to Lawless for a second. Is Billy still there? Or the shop, the front of the shop is...
Yeah, I think the Lawless shop is still there, yeah.
Oh, Billy is still running in that, yeah. Sorry, now we'll move on to Wins. which was a lovely little clothes shop, a good quality clothes shop, and it was run by the Wynn family, and they came from Vincent Avenue, and the boys were in the same classes as me at school, so knew them well. Very, very decent people, and they were there for a long, long time.
Okay.
Now we move on, Jason, to I suppose the Roma, which is next to it, still going strong.
Yeah, it's synonymous with Dundalk, Harry. And this sign on the wall, I know that the guys in the town centre manager's office, Martin McGilligan, is running a project to repaint these signs back up on the wall. And I think it's a great idea. And there's one from now to put back up on the wall. But the Roma was there when my folks were going out to dances. They used to go to the Roma. It was all there through my generation. It's still there for my kids' generation. So it's been there a long, long time.
Yeah, no, the amusements that is still there under the Brannigan people own that.
Yeah, it's not
And
somewhere. It's not somewhere I ever went, but I do remember the sign being
no,
there, and I do remember the amusement scene there. Yeah.
yeah. No, it's hard to see, Jason, any of the shops for the run. So can
Okay,
we
so
move to
we'll
another
move. Yeah,
see?
we'll move
Yeah,
on. We'll move on.
and see where we're going to in Park Street.
Okay.
Yeah, now this is looking down from Jimmy's right down to where we were, nearly down to the Phoenix Bar there, which
Yeah.
is just up from the Roma actually.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's, of course, Jimmy Man as it was known,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a really a big top class. It still is, of course. But it was a
Yeah.
great caller. I'll meet you at Jimmy's, wasn't it? It was always just known with Jimmy's.
Yeah, I remember my dad, used to be, well, I suppose back in the early 80s, there was Sunday morning drinking went on, and they would bring the kids with them, which seems bizarre now, but we would either go to Jimmy's or we would go to somewhere in Cambasle Street, and the dads would go in and they'd have a couple of pints while the mums were at home making the dinner, and the kids would sit in the corner with a bottle of soda pop and a bag of crisps. But if you look in the window, you see this ace of clubs that's here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know this now, Harry, but what that was related to was when you walked in, you could buy a card. There was 52 cards for sale from the barman, and he would sell them. It was probably £1 or a punt each, and then there'd be a prize of maybe 30 or 25 or 30 pounds. So like you were in getting your pint, you'd buy the card, you'd put it in your pocket, and then you may stay or you may go. But for the barman would have another deck, and he'd pull the card out, and whatever card it was, they'd put it in the window, and that's how you'd know which was the winning card.
I hope people, Jason, can hear you. We're doing this live, but your voice has gone down a little bit there. Maybe you might be able to just raise your voice a little bit on it to help us. But am I okay with you, Jason? Can you hear me
Yeah,
all right?
fine.
Yeah?
Keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Now, next to it, that yard, I think that was Jimmy's yard, wasn't it? I think
This one here, I don't
yeah.
ever remember those gates being open. I've never seen them open, so I'm not
No,
too.
I didn't. No. Now, the next one is something I never remember this being called. It's called Newberry's, as far as we are. Hanbury's.
It looks like
Hanbury's.
Hanbury's. Oh,
Yeah. And they had two shops there,
yeah,
the jean shop next to it,
yeah,
and your regular sign, of course, Jason, which we've seen around the town above the shop there, jean scene.
yeah,
And so it's something that I can't remember. Now there's a restaurant, I think, there, and a cake shop
yeah.
there
It
at the
looks like a
moment.
clothes shop, Harry, and kids close
Yeah,
this side and adults close that side.
yeah.
Maybe
Now,
people can
next door to it there, the brown building was a shoe shop called McKenna's. Eddie McKenna and his brother ran it for years and years,
right?
and it was a very good basic men's shoes and very good quality stuff. And they were there up until now, maybe, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years ago.
Okay,
But a lovely family, and very, very well thought of in the town.
okay,
Now, the next one is the EBS, which is still the Educational Building Society.
yeah.
They call it EBS all the time now, and that is still there with the lovely door. There's a beautiful door on that building.
Yeah.
and look at it. And next to it, now we can't see it from this angle, but the old Bank of Ireland, at that time it was the Bank of Ireland. It's a casino, I think now, Jason.
It was a casino and it's closed down. I don't think it's open at all now. But my memory of it was that was the first bank that closed in Dundalk. It was, it was a very busy bank, and then all of a sudden it closed. So it was the start of the banks closing down.
Yeah, the blue wall there is the end wall of the Phoenix Bar, which we didn't get up to when we were at the Roma, and so it of course a very, very well known shop or bar rather there. And move on to another one now, Jason, further up if we can.
Okay, so this is if you hop across the traffic island and basically you turn left from where that photograph was taken. This was taken at a different time. This was obviously Christmas time in Cumbrassel Street. And Harry, you recognize this cafe here?
Yeah. Not in Bracester, was it?
Oh, Park Street. Yeah.
That's Gulliver's, yeah. And that was a very, very popular cafe with young people, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the kind of new trendy cafe that was in the early 80s in Dundalk, where you might get a nicer cup of coffee in there and maybe club sandwiches that we'd never heard of before. So that was the go-to place if you're a couple now, Gulliver's.
Yeah. And of course, Jason, if you look at Dun's Stores there on the left-hand side of Gulliver's sign there, and it was a huge shop at one time in the town. Like it was probably the biggest shop other than dairies, maybe.
Yeah,
in the whole town at one time.
It was. You can really see when the lights are across here how big it was, and they would have been flashing and tinkling at Christmas time. Very atmospheric. It was a real draw. There was a real buzz in this area, Harry, that you can see now. Yeah. So even over the far side of the road, can you make out some of the shops over here?
Well, we'll go. Yeah, we have a good. If you go to another picture there, Jason, we have a very good picture of some of those shops.
Okay.
Which is that's going from the other side, but yeah, we'll go from there, and then we can get away down. We have two pictures taken from either side of that row of shops. Louis Boyd's, of course, in Newry Company, and they did men's clothes. They were there for a good while, but a few years anyway. Maybe I'm wrong saying a good while, but that's who it was. Kevin Matt is, of course, still there next door. And after that, then Bernie Baldwin's Jewelers. Unfortunately, it's not there anymore. It's a flower shop, actually, now.
Okay.
Now, after that, I think that's a Money or something there.
Yeah, I think that was a bureau de change called Money Market.
I can't remember way back then what a Money Market was.
It was a fancy name for a bureau de change where you get your sterling and your francs.
But the bureau de change, Jason, there wasn't very many people went down to the north way back in them days, was there?
Certainly, Harry. During the 80s. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
On Newry Market, of course. Many's a coat I got in it, yeah. Now, after that, then, is the Irish National Building Society, is it?
Yeah, I think it is. It's hard to make out, but I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's Irish National, yeah. It is, I think. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Now, next door to that, there is a tiny little shop there. You can do you see that? Yeah. That was owned by a man called Mickey Brennan, and Mickey lived up in Ann Street. Okay. And his son, of course, would be very famous, Paul. He was the headmaster in the Friary School up until recently. He died, actually, not all that long ago. But Mickey Brennan, all he sold was newspapers. And I think he sold cigarettes as well. I think he did now. But it was only a tiny wee shop, but he sold some newspapers, yeah. Okay. Now, this next one at Milaka's restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, will we ever forget it? the very, very first meal I ever had in my life, that there was a white tablecloth on the table. And when we went in one night, I didn't pay for it, though. Somebody who won money in a book in a poker school above in
Right.
Joe's club and took me there and felt
Well,
sorry for me.
I had my first swanky meal in there as well, Harry, from my confirmation. My folks took me into Malacca's.
It was
And
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now, there's a sign, Jason, there,
this
see
one?
that yellow sign? Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
have any idea
I
what?
can't make that out. I do remember the sign, but I can't make it out. And it's in
Can
relation
you
to
zoom
this.
in on it at all,
Oh, I
Jason?
think I'm at full zoom now. I can't get in any closer. It
All
has
right,
something to
okay.
do with this yellow sign here. The two of
Yeah,
them go together, but I just can't. I can't tell what that was. Maybe people will.
yeah. Now, of course, Bill Russell's immediately after that,
Yeah, it's
and
Russell's
Bill
Saloon. Yeah,
Russell's still there. It's still
yeah.
there. But one of our great memories growing up as kids was Bill Russell's, not for going in for drink or anything. It was to go down every Sunday when Dundalk would be playing away, be it even in Dublin and Cork and Sligo. That we hadn't, of course, televisions or anything at that time. And Philip Green used to do a program with all the results at 10 to 7. But if we went down to Bill Russell was a chairman, I think, of the football club.
Right.
And he used to put the result up because he'd a phone, you see.
Right.
And he used to put the result up on the window.
Okay.
And when they'd win, there'd be a big cheer. There'd be loads of people down seeing the result
Yeah,
going up.
that's a
And
good
then
gimmick.
you'd get home to hear Philip Green on the radio talking about
Right.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's now, Jason. There is another photograph in that area. They're coming from the other side, and
Okay. Let's see if we can find it.
it's see if we can get that one because it's
This one.
quite a yes. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It's right. Yeah. Now this is a lovely view actually. Now you can see on the right hand side there, wallpaper,
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah.
Now that was a man called Petey Dornan,
Right.
originally from up in Ladywell Terrace. And Petey worked in one of the paint shops in the town, I'm not quite sure which. And then he opened up there in that shop. Now, the
Right.
shop there, when we were growing up, of course, was a butcher shop, Sweeney's the Butchers.
Okay.
And that brings back an awful lot of memories, that particular shop.
Okay.
Now, next to it, the Bank of Ireland Finance. I think there is a dentist shop there at the moment.
I'm wondering, Harry, what was the difference between your standard Bank of Ireland and Bank of Ireland Finance? This must be.
I don't know, Jason. It was something I
It was probably
used
business
to know
banking.
because there was an awful lot of them called finance.
Yeah, I'd say it was
way
business
back in that
banking.
time.
Maybe people can leave
Yeah.
a comment, but I'd say it was business
Now,
banking.
Michael McDonald. Michael was a good and dark man. I think he was involved in politics. Now, not the Micheál McDonald, but it's could be some kind of a relative. He did electric stuff, washing machines and thing. You can see them in the window.
Yeah, you
there.
can see the white goods there.
Yeah. Now, the next shop is a shop that everybody in Dundalk absolutely loved. Peter Hughes' shop. It was a trove of everything, toys, sweets, you name it in the sweets, and they had it. Run by a man, called Peter Hughes from round the back of the wall, Mount Avenue up there, and his sisters. They used to help him in the shop when they were busy. He did a roaring trade in it, and he had both downstairs and upstairs in it. Yeah.
A real Trevor Trove, Harry. I remember going in there. He had Airfix planes. It was one of the few shops in Dundalk where you could buy Airfix models. And as you say, there was a downstairs, there was an upstairs. As a young child, it was in Aladdin's Cave. It was a wonderful shop.
Now, Jason, there's a shop after that with that orange sign, and I should know it, but I can't really put my name on it because the sign is not very good.
Yeah, I remember the two of these shops were both kind of kid friendly. So was this a sweet shop and this was a toy shop? Peter Hughes.
No. Peter Hughes had a toy shop and a sweet shop.
Together.
So I don't think it was. I'm not quite sure. I don't.
Maybe somebody can help us out on this. That looks like Kerr, Kerr, and.
Oh, I know Jim Kerr.
Jim Kerr.
Oh, that is a Jim. Yeah. That's Jim Kerr. Used to be. He used to be actually have a butcher shop. He had two
All right.
shops in the town.
Actually, now
He
that you
had
say it, it
that
looks like a
one.
butcher shop. Although the shop next
No,
door
he had a
looks like.
butcher. He had a no. Don't be jumping the gun now, Jason.
Right, go on.
He had a butcher shop up where Des O'Loughlin is now,
Yeah, yeah,
Audiocom,
yeah,
and he had a butcher shop there,
yeah.
and he had also that shop there, Jim Kerr's
Okay.
Mascot. That was
Oh,
the
the
name of it.
mascot. That's what it was.
Jim Kerr's Mascot,
That's
yeah.
what it
And he
was.
sold
Yeah.
toys and stuff now, yeah,
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
papers
yes.
and everything.
Okay.
Now, that seems to be a chemist.
This one.
Is that word chemist there?
No, I think that is a butcher shop, and that is the mascot because that looks like a butcher shop sign.
No, he wasn't next door to it. He
Oh,
definitely
was he
hadn't
not?
got it.
Okay,
No,
I'm
definitely.
wrong then.
No, it was. I'm right, Jason. I remember going in for me meet up there. No,
Okay.
it doesn't. It look like a butcher shop, all
It
right,
does.
but
It does.
it was nothing got to do with Jim Kerr though.
Okay.
And do you see there's a sign above it, Jason?
Yeah.
But it's
That
impossibility to
says.
read it.
I think that
Yeah,
says Sunset Blinds.
the sunset what?
Blinds.
Blinds.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was
Yeah.
It was a blind shop.
Yeah. Okay, we keep
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
Harry.
yeah.
We'll take
No,
in one more picture.
they're beautiful
Yeah.
of those ones there. That's a lovely scene.
Okay.
Now, this is the across the road
Yeah.
from Louis Boyd's there where we were talking. Now, this is absolutely lovely again. Now, unfortunately, it didn't come up far enough for a few shops that was there. But we'll start off, there was a little, this side of Connolly's, to the right of Connolly's,
Mhm.
was a little supermarket. Now I'm thinking the other side of the road, it was called, there was another one. One was called Peter Ward and one was called Paddy Ward. And I
Right.
think they were relatives. But then beside that, on the right hand side, was McGill's the Undertakers. And that was where they operated from. And they had a yard there where they kept the horses, the black horses and the hearses down there. And
Okay.
of course, now it's owned, of course, by Rosemary. And they're moved down to Johnson Street when business got good. So now the next one, Value Texas, I remember it there, but I have no idea who owned it.
I know who owned this shop because my uncle Patsy McKeown from Crossmaglen had a shop right there. Now I'm not sure if it was called Value Textiles, but he definitely had a clothes shop, and it looks like that's a clothes shop. But Patsy McKeown was his name. He's my uncle.
Now we then move on to the Four Lanterns.
Oh
course,
yes,
which was a place in its
Dundalk's
own.
first fast food joint,
Yes.
chain,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Now there was MJ's Lounge then immediately after it, and that's where the laneway is to take you down onto the rampart. And they had a nightclub. I think it was called MJ's Nightclub.
Yeah, yeah.
And now, if you go, do you see the sign above it? I'm a great man for signs.
Yeah.
What does it say? Dry gin.
Dry gin. That says, I think that
Cork
says
dry
gin. But there's
you
another.
know all about that, Jason. I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't know much about it. But I know a little
What's
about
that sign there now?
That sign there is for a snooker club. So there was a snooker club at the back of MJ's. I was only ever
That's
in it
right.
once.
Yeah, you went down. Now, the two little white shops, one of them, now there used to be a wee sweet shop there at one time, but there was also one of the busiest, there was a tiny wee shop. It was called McAllister's, a pork butcher shop. It was owned then eventually by the Rock family. And it was absolutely a brilliant wee shop. And there's when my poor mother used to go down, and she would only go in if there was a certain lady serving her, because the lady would, if she asked her for another couple of sausages, she'd throw it in when no one was looking.
Oh my God.
Now, there's a shop called Fine Feathers. Isn't that now a great name for a shop? I presume it's a ladies' fashion shop. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I remember the name Fine Feathers.
I doubt it was a men's clothing shop called Fine Feathers.
Well, and I doubt it could be a hula. What did they call it? These dancers, hula dancers, or something like that.
A go-go dancer shop.
Yeah, she wears red feathers, you know.
I don't think so.
Now, moving down, Cox's Seed Shop is there, just behind the pole there.
Just here, yeah. Was that
I'm
at the
not quite
square as well,
sure.
Harry? No.
It was quite a big shop, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was there a seed shop at the square? Oh, that was a different seed shop.
That was Tootsie Wallace's. That was
Wallace's.
Tootsie
Okay.
McCone. Yeah. Now this is where originally the Park Street Cinema was,
Oh, right there.
in that area.
Okay.
There's where the Park Street Cinema was.
Okay.
Now,
And
if you move, if you can go down, I'm not quite sure. There was a second-hand shop around there somewhere, and there was a fella used to sell comics. And if you went down with a couple of comics, you might give you a penny for them.
okay.
And not only was he rotten, the shop was filthy as well. We used to have great cracking into him trying to get money. Oh, you get money for a penny worth of aniseed balls or something, you
Well,
know.
we'll finish up
Now,
at the
not
Imperial
quite
Hotel.
sure
Will we,
after that,
Harry?
Jason. I'm
Okay.
kind of
We'll finish up at
lost
the
there.
Imperial Hotel. The
Yeah.
sign was very distinctive. And one thing I just caught my eye was, I think I can see an awning over the door here. You see the front door down here?
Yeah.
These are awnings here. And I think whatever bar was there, now it was Images bar before it was Tivoli, so Images might have been there. And I think they're the
Yeah.
awnings.
Now, do you see the sign above that there on the wall?
Up here
Uh,
or here?
no, here.
Here?
Underneath the Imperial sign that goes
Oh,
down the
yeah.
wall. I think that that was owned actually by two ladies called Donnellys. They had a chemist shop there.
Right. Okay.
And if I'm right now, that shop has been closed up now for years. It's next to the Vinegar Man
Okay.
in that
Well,
area.
listen, Harry, that concludes our journey down Park Street. We have a lot of questions. We weren't so sure of all the venues there. So if people can help us out on Facebook or leave comments underneath the YouTube video, then they'll be able to help us out.